Afternoon, Darren. First of all, I think you may have some news for us on a new signing.
Yeah, nothing I can kind of share just yet. It's taken a little bit longer today than we thought, so I want to be safe rather than sorry.
Yeah.
But he's here. He's in the building. We're just a little bit behind with some administrative duties, but we're hopefully going to announce him sort of early evening today.
Okay.
But listen, if it goes through, it's a really good signing for us, a really great signing for us.
Without naming names, can you tell us what position he plays at?
Fullback.
Fullback,
Yeah,
right,
fullback.
Okay. So one door opens and he comes in, but another door opened and Miles Hippolyte walked out through it. What was that all about?
Well, it's this thing in football, Aid, where an organisation gives you a certain amount of money and they take the player and we get the money.
Is that how it works? I never knew that.
I think it's quite. I think it was quite a simple process. Look, from a coaching, just purely a coaching, a football perspective. Forget about all of the economy and finance of football. I never want any of my players that play week in, week out to go, no matter the cost, no matter the money. It's not my. Look, I'm not the owner of the football club, so nothing comes out of my bank account in terms of money going out every month or every day or every week. So there isn't an amount of money where I'm going to say yes to anyone leaving, whether it be Lawson Diath or Charlie Lee or Luke Wilkinson. There's no amount of money that would ever make me say yes, because they're so important to my life. They're really important to my life, and I think they're really important to Yeovil's life. And Miles is in that category. So but going back now to the football finance, or the finance of football, the amount was of a good enough figure to make the club say they would accept it. So I think it becomes really difficult as well, depending on the player and depending on the character. And I've got a wonderful relationship with Miles. I've known him since he was 14 years old. We've got a long-standing, very good relationship, but it would have been very difficult to have kept Miles after that, because there are no secrets in football now. As soon as you get intermediaries involved, they're trying to justify their job to their player. Miles would have known about it, and it'd have been quite difficult, and I'm not sure we'd have got the best out of Miles retrospectively. But for me, disappointment, because obviously I did a lot of work with Miles. Miles had his best season in his career last year in terms of games played, in terms of goals scored, and that's reflective of the work we do with him every day and the way he's managed. So it's bittersweet. I said that at the time. It's very bittersweet.
So would it be fair to assume then that a wide-sided player will be you'll be looking for another one to replace him?
I don't think you can replace Miles. I don't think the market out there replaces Miles like for like. You look at him, 26, good age, decent experience, very ambitious, and financially to us it was an incredible deal that we got Miles for. So I can't replace Miles like for like. It's impossible. It's impossible. I'd need 3 times what we paid him, and we haven't got that. We haven't got double what we paid him, let alone 3 times. So I think it's like always. What I'm always trying to do is trying to assess the market, a bit like a stockbroker, a bit like a trader. I'm trying to assess the market, see what value for money is out there, and then work our team eventually around our best players. Darren Sarll does not play a certain system everywhere he goes. I play lots of different systems, because I'm always at clubs where I have to try and manoeuvre quite carefully, quite intelligently, into getting the best players and the best people I can in the football club. It's not, Josh Staunton is the exception, because I'd highlighted Josh and said I want him, but it was at the right time. In another year's time, we won't be able to afford Josh Staunton, because he's going to be such a good player. So you've got to try and react and act as the market dictates. So listen, it's a really fun part. It's a really fun part of the job, and I'm constantly on the phone to Scott. Scott hates me. I ring him multiple times a day. This one's come up, that one's come up. Should we move? Can we do this? Can we do it? So I am a pain in the backside. and I do feel for Scott, so quite a lot. But listen, I want the best group of men going down the tunnel as possible, and it's my duty to try and serve up some sort of product for our supporters. So, I always fight hard for those good players. But going back to your question, replacing Miles like for like, near enough impossible.
Now, notwithstanding what you said back along about friendly games or pre-season games, whichever we call them, that you pray that the players come through uninjured, etc. Hopefully they did at Stratford, but obviously the result wasn't perhaps what you would have liked to have seen.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care. It don't bother me. You can win loads, you can win none. It never gives you an insight into what we're going to do or what we're not going to do. I've had pre-seasons where I've won every game. Remember one year at Stevenage we beat Brighton. I mean Brighton, like fully strength Brighton. Duffy, Dunk, Knockhart, Glenn Murray's, blah blah, all of them. And we didn't win a game till the end of August in the league. So, it's a real false sense of security. What we'd like to be is we'd like to be ready for the first game, or as close to as ready to the first game as possible without any injuries, with our full strength side, and look to try and hit the ground running. Now that's in another 4 weeks. So we've got loads of time, and we've just got to make sure we stay injury free. The success of pre-season is not in the score; it's in fitness and it's in the capability to hit that first game as strong as possible. So I don't care. I mean, people can read into it, people can say, but that's not the attitude to have. I don't care. I really don't care what they say. We're going to carry on moving forward and trying to build a really, really good side.
Well, talking of fitness levels, how's the pre-season going from a point of view of fitness levels, etc.?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. We're having to be. It's completely different than last year. The tests are completely different. This time last year, everyone was playing. The Stratford game last year, everyone was playing for Darren Sarll for the first time. So the levels of enthusiasm, motivation, all of these things are completely different. We're a year on. I know them, better, and I've got to give them different expectations. But no, they're running very, very hard. Terry normally delivers a large piece of the coaching now, especially as we move throughout the season. Terry became more and more influential as a coach, which is how I like it. This time last year I was doing all of the running, and all of the sessions pretty much 90% single-handedly, but Terry now delivers, a big portion of our work. Our work is different. Like I said, the tests are different. This time last year I'm looking and I'm trying to gauge and look into people's eyes and think, come December when it's cold, rainy, good runs, bad runs, who's going to still be running through those walls, who's going to be trying to break down barriers, who's going to still have hunger and desire. Because we all know that there are fair weather players out there. We know that there are players that are good in training, not in games. We've got all of these kind of variables. This year it's different because all of the players that want to run through those walls are here. They're still here, including young Gabby, who's done fantastically well in the last 3 or 4 months with his development. So that isn't the test anymore. I'm not looking into their eyes and looking into December and thinking who's going to. I know they will, and I know the standard of the people in the changing room and the group will dictate that they'll constantly run and fight and kick for Yeovil. And this, like last year, we still got to roll our sleeves up and fight our way out of this. That sort of goal hasn't changed. But we ran them very hard last Thursday and Friday, and we ran them on the artificial surface, which is it's a drain in your legs. Artificial surface, unless you're doing it all day, every day, and it becomes habitual, and the way you live your athletic life, it drains the life out of you. Even when me and Terry run around it every now and then, it's the next day you feel different, and they look sluggish as hell on the Saturday. I mean, we look sluggish, but let's look sluggish now and really fit in 6 games time.
Well, Saturday Saturday's Friday, isn't it? You go to Frome for another one. Are you going to be blooding another load of trialists and anything sort of significant about the game?
There'll be more trialists. I think we should be, touch wood, I think we should be, Charlie Lee and Albie should be back in. and there'll be some players. There are some that have gone from last Saturday. There's some that are still here, some that we still want to look at. So we're still going through that process. It's starting. I mean, I put a couple of teams up on the board earlier, and we are starting to look stronger. Hopefully, the new fullback will add to us in a big way. And it just means that we've got the option of playing a back four rather than only a back three, because we haven't got because we didn't have a fullback. So it should give us good depth, and he's got good experience. So it should be a real addition to us. But Charlie and Albie, brilliant characters, brilliant. Albie in particular, brilliant physically, changes the shape of the team coming out of the tunnel completely. Josh Staunton's another week on. I think Josh has been surprised by how hard we train, and I don't think his body is quite used to that demand every day. Because I'm an assertive guy, and I expect a minimum application, and a minimum enthusiasm and energy about my training days, and it does take it out of you, I must say, and I have to work very hard at not doing that too close to games. But while we're in this physical phase, this physical development phase, then bugger them. They're going to get smashed every day, and if they look tired on the games, they look tired on the games.
You're so emotional about it.
I love it.
Or lacking emotion, perhaps I should say. Yeah. I think I know the question, the answer, but how many more players are you likely to bring in, do you think? I mean, I was bet you're going to say it was down to Scott, but I mean...
Well, yeah, no, it is. It absolutely, it's down to the capability of the football club. Right here, right now, I've got to be honest, I'm not completely sure, the strength in being able to bring more in. It's very much a case by case, and it is down to, like I said this earlier in the interview. It's not my bank account. It's easy for people to say, commit money to it, and it's not coming out of their bank account. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds that run a football club. We're not talking about a tenner or 300 quid or 400 quid. So it's it's a huge responsibility our owner has, and he's done a fantastic job for this club so far, and he tries to give me the best chance I get or I can have to build a team. What we've got to understand is, as a football manager, you can't expect the football team to do certain things without the right ingredients. It's like trying to bake a cake. If you can't afford the sugar, how are you going to build the cake? It's going to be the worst cake ever, boring, bland. And so it's all of these ingredients, and them ingredients cost money. They do cost money, and that's why it's so important that everyone out there, all our supporters, we do get behind the football club, and the more we get behind the football club and supporting it, like we did with the crowdfunder, unbelievable support for that. The bigger expectations can be, but we have to be very, very intelligent, and the Oval fans are an intelligent group of fans. I've always said that they've got a good idea on their football. They've witnessed a lot of good football over the years, so they know what's right, they know what's wrong. I saw that from day one. But we have to be intelligent with our expectations.
Finally, the transfer window's gone over.
But sorry, Abe, you're not intelligent, so I don't expect your expectations to be managed.
Fine.
I haven't started on you yet, Paul.
No, I'm waiting for it.
No.
He's in all the day, Paul. The transfer window hasn't closed yet. Are you? Have anybody sniffing around, or hopefully they're not? But is there any likelihood of that happening?
What, for our players?
Yeah.
No. I've got to say, in my time here, we've had one monetary offer for one player. That's it, and he's now gone. That's it. So all of the rumours and rubbish that we had in January, MK Dons this, Shrewsbury that, and Millwall and tosh, absolute rubbish. Just agents stirring the pot. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They have to get this. They have to get these kind of bites from somewhere, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's be done. Thank you very much, Darren.
Thanks, mate.
How you doing, Darren? You alright?
I'm good, Paul. What you got for me today, Paul? I'm really excited.
I bet you are. So the fixtures are out on Tuesday.
Right.
When you know your first game, does that alter your preparations at all, or does it not really matter?
No. We just concentrate on the physical phase. I think it's an exciting day that when the fixtures are released. I think it's a calendar day, isn't it? It's one that you set a reminder for, and it is nice to start looking. Me personally, I've never been a massive observer of tables, even league tables. I've gone weeks as Yeovil manager without looking at the table. I'm not a massive observer of who we're playing 10th or 12th or in January. I kind of look at the first 3 games, which is probably the first 4 days knowing our league, and try and just have a little look around that. I mean, like I said, there's no preparation I can do for the first game. I only start learning as a football coach, as a manager, after the first game. You can't prepare, because if you went on pre-season game, I mean, some teams in pre-season look like world beaters. It comes to the real thing and absolute pack. We were. I think our last game last year might have been Bristol City at home. Might have been it was a strong Bristol City side here. I think we won 2-0. Might have been 1-0. But I thought we played really well. And then I thought the following week at Barnet, I thought we were flat. Really flat. I know we was at the start of our journey, but we were really flat. So you only start learning on the first game. I hear all these coaches coming out and say, well, it was a good test tonight in pre-season, we learnt a lot, we can take that. I can't learn anything unless there's 3 points on it and a bit of pressure and a few people growling at you when you give the ball away. I don't think, me personally, it's only me personally, but I don't start learning into that first game.
Are there any sort of fixtures you're looking out for at all, or are you just not fussed, you play them as they come?
There was one I really enjoyed last year. I really enjoyed going to Wrexham. Just the ground, the history behind Wrexham. People probably look at Yeovil and think that's a good one. I do like going to these traditional football clubs. I really do, with the traditional grounds, and I think they have such character and spirit. Almost those stadiums, they almost talk themselves, don't they? There's that kind of just that feel when you get there. Even if you played behind closed doors, there would still be an atmosphere. And I like those grounds. The modern grounds, I think that's been removed. All of that character and history has been removed. So I did like going to Wrexham last year. It was it was an entertaining game, 3 each. I wish we'd have won it, of course, but it wasn't meant to be on the day. But it was the first time I was there. It's always been a club that I've looked out for since Darren Ferguson, believe it or not, was playing there and coaching there. I've always looked out for Wrexham, so no, I like going there, I really do.